Hello and happy Multichrome Monday. If this is your first time here, my name is Millie, and this is a series I do here on my channel where I feature different multichromes from all different kinds of brands. I do swatches, swatch comparisons, tutorials, and everything and anything that has to do with multichrome eyeshadows. And today's video is all about the Molten chromes from Unearthly Cosmetics. When I saw that they were launching these, I was so excited. I did grab all of them. I believe they were two separate bundles, or was it one bundle? I think it was one bundle, and I think they might have two separate bundles because some of these are flaky and then some of them are just regular smooth metallic. So I'm going to be putting them to the test. I'm going to be creating 4 looks. I'm also going to be featuring the sleepover palette, which my order just came recently, so I thought I would throw it into this video. And here's the inside color story. I'm also going to be using some other Unearthly Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes that I own. So this is going to be really just like Unearthly Cosmetics all-in-one kind of video. I love that the palette has quite a bit of depth, so I'm going to be showing you some swatches of this palette as well as all the Molten chromes, and I am going to be separating out the flakies from the smoother metallics. And they do have number names, which I really wish that they had like actual names, because there's just something about having an actual name that helps me remember the shade a little bit more, versus numbers is just too general for me to remember. But that is really just like a small personal preference really. So let's get right into some swatches, the 4 looks, and then I will give you some of my thoughts at the end of the video. Priming with the Gimme Glow Shadow Primer. So I am going to be dipping into the Sleepover palette for this look, and I'm first going in with Flirty Holy Pigment. Okay, I mean, I should have known to expect this, but wow. Taking a little bit of Beloved just on the edges of that. Just staying in with this fluffy brush. I really want to just blow this out, so I don't mind it being a little less controlled. Taking Sweetheart on the outer corner, got a little bit of fallout, but that's totally fine. I'm gonna take that into my crease as well, all the way, and I'm going to be blending it upwards. And I'm also going to take this under my lower lash line, even though I just realized I forgot to reapply concealer there. I did do a look before this one, so I just wiped that off to film this, get a head start on filming for Multichrome Monday. It's always nice to be able to do that. So going in with Beloved, just a little bit on the edges, and these are blending so nicely. I mean, look at that. That did not take long at all. I'm gonna go back in with a little bit of Sweetheart. I feel like it didn't stick down, probably because there's no product and I did just wipe it off, so I'm gonna fix that later. But I'm just gonna go in and blend in that deeper matte in the crease in here. I'm gonna be going in with the MC4 Molten Chrome. Oh, it's such a shame it's not translating on camera, but this one is so beautiful. It's really such a perfect pairing for this palette. So I picked up this much on a rather flat brush, and I'm just gonna be putting this all over the lid. I haven't even swatched these. I've only used one up until now for a reel. So if you're interested in seeing another Molten Chrome in action, so I'm not going to be featuring that one in this look, obviously, since I already filmed with it. So this is just going to be kind of like a half cut crease. And I'm just kind of trying to blend it out here though, just a little bit. And so the most important thing with anything like this is to make sure it completely dries before opening your lid. So I'm gonna do that now. Popped on the Mystic Lashes from Unearthly Cosmetics. Look how beautiful that looks. Okay, I'm gonna go in with an inner corner highlight from the palette. I'm gonna use Laughter as the inner corner. Wow, beautiful. This could also work as a highlight depending on your skin tone. Super. So this is the first look. Let's check out that shift. Priming again with the Gimme Glow primer. So I'm going to be actually dipping into in the dark palette because I want to use some of the blue tones. So I'm just going to take that and create an eyeshadow wing. I'm going to be layering a multichrome over it. I almost went in with just like a regular black liner, but I thought I wanted a little bit of diffusion there. So I'm just tapping that on basically right along my lash line. I did have a look on before this, so you might be seeing some of that lash residue. And I'm just gonna make that a super glam look. I'm gonna take it underneath as well. Forgot to readjust the lighting, so I think this is a little bit better. It was a little bit dark before that. So next I'm taking Paranormal, and I'm going to put that right into my crease. Just taking it all the way through my crease, basically. The shade is super pigmented, so I went in with very little first to just lay down some of the color. But you can see that just keeps going and going. I'm gonna take a little bit of translucent powder on the edges of that, just blending it out. And I'm gonna try to just take it down a little bit in here, but I'm gonna be putting a flaky there. So it's really just to have like a little base for the flaky. So I'm just taking a little bit more on, and I'm gonna be using MC2 of the Molten Chromes. And I'm gonna be layering MC2 over that blue. Wow, that is so beautiful. I mean, it's multichrome, of course, but you know, it could have been disappointing, but it's not. And I'm gonna extend it underneath as well. And I'm just gonna wipe off my brush now, and I'm gonna kind of run it along the edge to kind of feather it out a little bit. Oh, I love that so much. Next, I'm taking MC11, and that's going to go right above that. I'm using a smaller brush. Wow, that is so pretty and so pigmented. I'm gonna be essentially doing like a half cut crease. Okay, this flaky went up a little too high. I'm gonna try to spread it out. Oh my god, that is amazing. That is amazing. Is this going to be a good alternative for the Myricks Flakies? That is the question. Wow, definitely feels much thicker. So I'm just gonna kind of try to blend this out a little bit because it's kind of like a bigger flake. But wow. So here's a second finished look. I put on the Mystic lashes again, and I love the way it looks. It definitely need to use very little of the flakies because a little goes a long way. So now let's take a look at the shifts. Priming with the MAC paint pot, and I'm taking Beloved right in the crease, and that's pretty much just going to stay right in the center. Just adding on a little bit more. Taking Sleepover, which is a sequin shade. Basically has some sparkles in it, but they kind of just blend. You can't even see any sparkles actually now that I've put it onto my lid. And then on the outer corner, winging this out a little bit. I'm going to take Beloved and use that to blend out to the edges of Sleepover. Packing a little bit more, it looks like it actually kind of came off. Like it blended away once I added the other shadow. And just back a little bit more here and here. And taking that under my lower lash line, the inner and outer portion. Then I'm taking a fluffy clean brush with just some powder, setting powder on it, going over the edges. I'm gonna go in with MC3 right in the center using a brush. feel like I actually picked up too much. We'll see. Does this go with this look like that much? I don't know, that's probably debatable, but really wanted to try this one. I'm just gonna try to kind of feather out the edges out here so that there's no harsh lines. And then here, I think I might just take it all the way. It might be the safest. I'm just taking it here and here. But I do want to just have the edges be a little bit more dispersed. Next, I'm going to take MC7. Look how thick these are. Definitely a bit different from the Dennis Myrics. Actually, that might be too much. And I'm taking the tiniest amount. And I'm just going to see what happens if I layer it over like the center of my lid. Because it is translucent, I just wanted it to give it a little bit more sparkle. I'm going to use it on the inner corner as well. Definitely feel like I can see it there better. Alright, here's the finished look. Let's take a peek at the shifts. Priming with the Paint Pot Primer. Going to be going into the Hauntingly Glamorous palette. Going in with Glamour Ghoul. Right into the crease. Taking it all the way. That went a long way, wow. And I'm taking Seance Weather on the outer corner. And I'm going to actually extend it into the crease. Super pigmented. I'm going to take back to the green shade and just blending out the edges slash blending it into the green here as well. Come back in with the dark blue. Did feel like we lost it just a little bit. Back here. Going in with a bit more and blending up here. Could be a super smoky eye. And taking a clean brush with just some translucent powder on it and just blending out this outer edge. I'm taking MC1 all over the lid. Oh, this shade looks so beautiful. Wow, that is so stunning. Oh my god. Okay, this is definitely one of my favorite shades from here. And I'm just kind of feathering out the edges of that. Going in with MC8 on the inner corner, and I might extend it onto my lid because I'm curious, but as you could see, that is super thick. Oh, that's too much. Oh no. Oh no. Alright, I am taking that up here. That is definitely way too much. Oh no. Okay, clean it up a little bit there. I mean, it looks kind of cool, but not quite what I was aiming for. So I'm just going to try to kind of blend it out into this shade because otherwise it's just going to be too thick and it's going to take forever to dry down. But that is really fun. Here's the fourth and final look. I think my microphone is about to die, so I'm going to try to make this relatively speedy and get all my thoughts out. First, I'm going to talk about the palette. Obviously, I've only used it 2 times, so I haven't completely formed my thoughts around this palette. I also haven't really used the shimmer since this was really about these kinds of shimmers. So I do plan on featuring it, maybe pairing it with some other shadows in another video or something like that. But just off of first impressions, I had a really good time with the shades that I did use, except for the shade Sleepover down here, which does have sparkles throughout it. It just feels like it's really like a bit on the drier side, so it kind of had some blending away problems versus some of the other shades, and also just versus like from other Unearthly Cosmetics palettes such as this one. Like, I just love the mattes in this palette so much. I'm looking forward to dipping more into this palette, especially into the shimmers, because the shimmers look really, really beautiful. So now let's talk about the Molten Chromes. I want to talk about the smoother ones first, which these are basically black-based multi-chromes in a gel form. These are on the thicker side, so I feel like I've tried a couple of different gel suspended jar multi-chrome kind of products at this point, and I do feel like these are a little bit on the like thicker side. The Karla Cosmetics are just maybe slightly less thick, but they are very similar. I think that these are super fun to do graphic liners with, that you have to make sure you let these completely dry down before you open your lid, which is why I like to have a little fan that's actually in the other room to really help it dry down. But definitely make sure you let these dry down. Don't put on too much, because if you do put on too much, you do risk some skin texture accentuation, and you might also feel these a bit more on the lid if you do put on a lot, but you really don't have to, because a little goes a long way, as you can see in the tutorial portion. And also, I think really any application with these, like a synthetic brush or a silicone applicator, both work really well with these. So these recommend if you're interested in something like this, if you don't already have these kinds of shades and you're looking for something a little bit fun. But do remember that these are wet and they are in a jar, and because of the fact that they're in a jar, they are going to dry out faster than if they were in a tube. And that is my just like really biggest pet peeve in general with anything wet, whether it's from Karla Cosmetics or from Reza Beauty or from Devinah Myricks. Like, the fact that it's in a jar, it just dries it out so much faster. So I would recommend really getting 1 or 2 shades that you think you're gonna get the most use out of, and make sure you're getting colors that you see yourself wearing a lot. Now onto the Flakies. I have kind of mixed feelings on these a little bit. They are definitely way different from the Devinah Myricks Flakies. They're much on the thicker side. As you can see, just they completely like stuck to the lid, while some of the Devinah Myricks are really liquidy, which makes them even harder to use. And also, I did forget to mention the price on these is amazing, especially with the 10% off coupon. Like, these are a steal if you want to try a gel multi-chrome, whether or not it's the Flakies or the smooth metallics. Definitely this is the way to go to try these out, because the price is definitely like the lowest out of all the brands I think I've tried. But so back to the Flakies, they take a really long time to dry down, and you really need to use the tiniest amount. But even when I would make sure I used a really small amount, I just had to wait and wait for them to dry down. And even when I thought that they were dry, because they felt like they were dry to the touch, and so I opened my eye, they actually ended up creasing. So you really have to make sure they don't feel wet on the lid anymore, because that's the thing. Like, they might feel dry to the touch, but they might just still be drying like underneath that top layer. So really with these, just be careful using too much. I do really like that these feel really smooth on the lid, so once you have them on and you're touching it, it doesn't feel like prickly like flakies all over the lid. And I do really love all the assortment of the colors in here. So just like with these smoother metallic Molten Chromes, I do recommend just getting 1 or 2 of these to really try out and play with. And you can also layer these over a like darker eyeshadow to really make them pop. In my general experience with these kinds of flakies is you do feel them on the lid at first. So because you're drying your lid while it's closed, your skin is stretched out so that when you open your lid, it becomes on a stretch. So there's a little bit of like tightness, but it really goes away within like 15-20 minutes, even less probably. So that's why I'm saying, like, really make sure you use a little bit and you really let it dry down, and then you're gonna be all set. You're gonna have so much fun with these, especially for the price. So let me know in the comments below if you picked any of these up already. What do you think of them, or if you plan on picking them up? I would love to hear your thoughts. And that's everything for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribe. There's so much indie makeup content, lots and lots of multi-chromes uploading my channel, and much more to come. You don't want to miss out. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.